Hello, everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Piloting Premodern. I'm Jerry Me.
That's your. Oh, am I supposed to go?
Now it's your go.
So you have completely changed the way you intro the show, Jerry.
Oh, sorry.
So
you never do that. Sorry. You know what? That's fair, Pat, because that's how I do my work podcast, and we're a well-oiled machine for my work podcast where we just sound off.
We might need to go back to the old ways, Jerry, and let me intro the show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Leaving a Premodern.
I don't know if I still got it. I don't know. It's like a pitcher getting back on the mound after a long time, after like a Tommy John surgery. Does he have it anymore? I don't know if he still got it. We'll see.
I don't know what a Tommy John surgery is, but that sounds painful.
Well, just like I don't know what a Bilbo Baggins magic card is.
There's definitely a meniscus involved in there somewhere, I'm sure.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Yeah. Is that like getting your extra ribs removed, Jerry? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that was, well worth the money, though. Worth the money.
Hey,
Anyways, I'm Jerry Me.
It's no service like self-service. Yeah, what's up, guys? How we doing?
And we got a very special guest today. We have the Durdle master himself, Mr. Zac Clark. How's it going, Zac?
It's a pleasure and honor to be here, man. Like I'm psyched you guys started back up, so I'm happy to be on.
Well, you had a very large role in that because, you invited me on your podcast after LobsterCon 2025. And, guesting on your show just gave me that little taste of podcasting again. That, like they say, the first hit is free.
Yeah, man.
You hooked. And I called Pat up soon after that, and here we are now. So I'm going to be sending...
Got you all hyped up, and then you were like, I guess I got to do this.
Exactly. So you might need to watch out. My wife might have taken out like an assassination contract on you. Yeah. So
it's okay. Yeah. My wife took one out of me a long time ago. They've missed so far every time.
Wait, you guys have wives? What?
The dancing children that always pop up in Pat's background aren't his.
Those are test tube kids.
They're just the neighbors' kids who find their way into Pat's house for snacks.
Yeah, I got snacks.
Got any
That's how I lure the neighborhood children to my house.
Speaking of, a large number of the comments we get on episodes is talking about how awesome Pat's snack collection is. Though it looks like you've cleaned it up, Pat. All you got now is some seltzer water. What's going on? Where are the snacks?
So what's going on is the kids are still on summer break, and like one BJ's run a week is not enough right now. Like I have two like adolescent boys, and
cleaned out, folks.
It is insanely, it is brutal. Like I bought a case of ice cream bars yesterday, like 12 ice cream bars, and there is one left. And I got those yesterday. Yeah, it's a rough go over here.
My running joke on the show is I'm the king of beverages, so you'll see me just like take a sip out of my desk just has a bunch of random stuff on it, and it's always like, this is yesterday's beverage.
You're like my wife's a beverage goblin. She just
yeah.
she has to have
come
a minimum
downstairs
of
with all the glasses and be like. My peasantry has like arrived at the dishwasher.
Yeah, my wife has to have a minimum of like three beverages at any given moment.
Yeah, man, you got to have the coffee, the water to hydrate, and then like some sort of a sweet sugary thing as well.
You need the ice drink, you need the hot drink, you need the water for hydration, you need the palate cleanser.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O.
And you need at least one empty glass.
Yes. And soup in a glass.
A soup, yeah, soup, good soup.
Excellent. Well, Zac, I mean, you got a lot going on. For our listeners who don't know, I'm sure that's few and far between though. But you've been a host of Eternal Durdles for years and years, going way back.
Long
we used
time.
to do a lot of stuff with you guys back in the Legacy days, back when we were still running Leaving a Legacy.
Well, the moment you dipped out, we immediately took the moniker of longest legacy podcast.
That's true.
Continuously running.
That's true. Yep.
I was like, we got him. We left.
We outlasted. Well, I'm kicking myself because we quit right before all like the benefits started rolling, and you got the God account on Magic Online.
I mean.
That's it, Jerry. Just that one. That's the one.
Yeah, that's a hard stop on that. No, I think the biggest change was like moving to video. That just exploded. Everybody who was doing content that was doing audio content or written content. Jesus, I used to write Magic the Gathering articles.
Yeah, I remember that. I have quite. I wonder if they're still up. But I used to.
They're there.
I used to have a Hipsters of the Coast series where I just did brews. I just had various different.
I forgot about that.
I think my article title line was developments in Durdling.
Yes, excellent. And you also had a involvement with Hipsters of the Coast. You're one of the founding members as well, right?
The founding member. I'm
the
guy.
Member. The guy. And things are going well for you guys. In fact, you just announced you're starting a third channel. You got so much content.
I mean, as far as Hipsters is concerned, I pass that off to other people. I don't really deal with it anymore. But so we have Eternal Durdles, which is legacy. That is our living format channel. So that's legacy, and occasionally we'll dip into heritage, which is basically legacy without Universes Beyond and without supplementary sets. So no commander sets and stuff like that, only stuff that went through standard. And then so that's Eternal Durdles, and then we now have split off our content into. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes,
I'm ready.
Returnal Durdles.
I was careful there.
That's a dangerous. It's razor thin there, my guy.
Returnal Durdles.
People who
which is all the locked formats. So you've got Premodern there. We also have Classic Legacy, Peak Legacy, and Pre-War Legacy as well.
Can I ask you a question? So
yeah,
I'm curious because again, I've heard of Classic Legacy. The other formats that you mentioned, I haven't heard of before. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it in a pre-show.
But Premodern, you've heard of.
Premodern, I've heard of. I've heard of Premodern, but pre-war, heritage,
before War of the Spark,
classic.
Yep.
Do you? And then again, this is kind of just my gut instinct. Do you feel like people are clamoring for kind of turning Legacy sort of more into a pre-modern format where it is a closed format where because it seems like that's a lot of formats splintering off of Legacy. Legacy to me was my favorite format, right? I loved Legacy when we were playing it, and then I eventually kind of fell out of love with it for a lot of reasons. Do you think that people are kind of clamoring for finding that sweet spot for Legacy, and that's why it's sort of splintered in all these formats?
I think what we've learned from Premodern is there is a growing sentiment in the old head Magic base, the 40+ Magic base. It's basically the people that I talk to on a daily basis, of people who are kind of over the quote unquote slop, that have seen enough, churn, 7 sets a year, that sort of stuff, and they're just I can't anymore, right? So with Heritage, one of the initial things with Heritage was Phil and I were no, because they only put out 3 sets a year, and then one of them's a Universes Beyond, so now you only get 2 sets a year, and it just wasn't enough for us. And then literally after we created a brand new format that lived and died in 2 months, because we were just burning out on Legacy, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. So we created a new format that would be only stuff that went through standard, and I didn't want to say no to Universes Beyond at the time because there were only 3 sets coming out a year, and literally a week later, Wizards was 7 sets this year, let's go, and I was Phil, we've made a giant mistake, right? And I full disclosure, I shit on Heritage as a format because I was this is a hater format. You guys just don't whatever the new thing that Wizards is bringing in or whatever.
Sure.
And at the time, we really only had Avatar: The Last Airbender was a thing that was coming, and Lord of the Rings, and I was Lord of the Rings fits.
Sure.
That's Magic the Gathering to me.
100% it is, yeah.
But then they started, then there's 20 other sets that are coming, and it becomes too much for people that are playing the game once a week, maybe once a month, right? Keeping up with that's a lot.
I was out with Secret Lair Walking Dead. I was done. Yeah. I was just
more power to
literally the first. I think Walking Dead was the first Universes Beyond, which I think was actually especially laughable because Walking Dead was it was in like season 11 at the time when they came out.
I mean,
with that. Like,
there's so much I could say. Like when they put out Fallout, I was like, who asked for this? When they put out Assassin's Creed, I was like, is there an Assassin's Creed crowd clamoring for anything right now? Do they care?
Yeah.
But to finish answering your question, so for Heritage, that's a living format. It keeps going, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for Peak, which is it stops at Eldritch Moon, which is why does it stop at Eldritch Moon? Because that's before the Monarch comes in.
Okay.
So you have the gameplay of Legacy and what those people consider to be at its peak, but the idea is like you don't have those out of game things like the Monarch and emblems and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with Eldritch Moon being peak, though. I do hope that peak takes off as a format because I'm still sitting on a bunch of Eldritch Moon boxes that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, but that's like one style of play, and you get Delver, like you get the Deathrite Shaman, Gitaxian Probe, and there's one other card that's legal. I forget what it is.
Treasure Cruise, or
is it? I think it's Sensei's Divining Top. Those are all legal in that format. So you get Legacy locked in time to that format, and they don't want anything to do with a discussion about bans or whatever. That's just like you can play this, right?
It's like time capsule format.
So then you have pre-war, which is just Legacy before War of the Spark. So before all the 3-mana Planeswalkers like Narset and stuff came into play. That's probably the least of the three as far as like popularity is concerned. I think that's the newest of them. It's not the newest because Peak is literally like Phil and Sam came up with Peak like kind of a few months ago. But there's a large crowd in New York playing it. They're doing like a tournament release. I think like next on the 16th there's a tournament for it. So we'll see. And then Classic has been going on for a little while. And Classic is Legacy up to Rise of the Eldrazi. So you don't get second Mirrodin block, and you don't get like Innistrad. So I think that what's compelling about that one, and it's the one I personally like to brew in the most, is a lot of my crutches I didn't play Legacy at that time. So a lot of my crutches for like the way I like to build decks in Legacy are just not there. So I can't play Delver,
Can I just say that format, Rise of Eldrazi is allowed, but Innistrad is not, because I feel this is like my Bernstein Bears moment, because when you said that, I could not believe that Rise of the Eldrazi came out after Innistrad. Like, that just does not register with me. I'm pretty sure I fell through like a time loop, and
I came into Magic during like the in between time of is it Dissension? Not Dissension. I came back into Magic. Dark something, whatever the second Innistrad set was, the one with the werewolves.
Okay.
And Avacyn Restored.
Avacyn Restored.
Yeah. So in between those two, and so I have a very direct like knowledge of that particular time because I was these are the cards I need to buy.
Me too. Innistrad was literally the set that I came back to Magic from after quitting, after like Kamigawa. Like I stopped at Kamigawa because I'm like, this Magic's stupid now. I'm going to college. I'm too old for Magic now. And then 4 years later, I'm graduating college, and I'm like, I was a fool. I need to come back to Magic. And Innistrad was the set that was coming out. And I'm convinced
what a set to come back to.
That Rise of Eldrazi was after that, but it's not. So I think I'm living in an alternate reality now where the timeline has been muddled.
But the thing I really like about that era of Magic is that a lot of the crutches that we know as Legacy players just don't exist. So you're not going to get to play Snapcaster Mage. You're not going to get to play any of the Eldrazi that come after that, like people are like playing Stompy and stuff like that. Like you really have to work, and this is why I like Premodern. You really have to work for your threats to win the game. You have to play Magic on the stack. You have to play Magic in a way that is like more. You're using your brain a little bit more. There's not just like, I resolved a snowball and the game is over, right? Like I'm playing a mono blue deck with Maluku Clouded Mirror as my win condition, guys. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. Just like in Premodern, it's like I see people talking about like brewing decks on like the Premodern subreddit, and people are like, all right, I'm thinking about using this as my threat, and it's like 1 in a blue for a 1/1 flying, and I'm like, is that really the best we have? Is that the best that we have in that slot?
You gotta get better at this part of the job.
I don't understand. I'm intimidating.
The Thresh
And it
Knot
wasn't Cloud of Fairies either. It wasn't Cloud of Fairies either.
in the Thresh Knot thread. I was like, oh, we're talking about like exploring some of the creatures. So I'm like, oh, let me look up every red, blue, green, any of those colors, any combination, 2 drops, up to 3 drops, I think. And like I was throwing a bunch of them out there, and some of them were like flavor wise very good with the deck, and then some of them were just like out of all the cards that were available, there was like maybe half a dozen that were like possible includes, and none of them were really that good. So it's very interesting. It gets you, Premodern gives you a chance to kind of look at these card pool, and like you're like, oh, these aren't all Delver Secrets, these aren't all Snapcaster Mages. Like you have to play some, for lack of a better term, you got to play some 5s in your deck, right? Like they're not all dimes. Like you got some 4s and 5s in there that are pretty rough.
What's crazy about Premodern is that like it was never a format. Like we never played through Premodern, right? Like you might have played Extended and played with some of those cards, right? You might have played Legacy and played with some of those cards, but there was never really a format where all of them were like together and in a way where you were thinking about like, oh, how do we build a thing with, because if you're playing Legacy, you had access to dual lands, right? That's a whole challenge in Premodern that you have to figure out, right?
Yes.
Well, also like the stack and various interactions. The rules were completely different. Like Opalescence Replenish was not a deck in Extended because it didn't work that way back in the day, and so
you would play it, but it would just like you'd just hope to phase out your opponent's lands and creatures for like a couple of turns and then get in for a swing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like that. I built my whole rating on Replenish during Standard, but like it's not the same deck.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be. You guys wouldn't be talking to me. I'd be like a big Pro Tour hotshot right now if it worked that way. I'd be like, sorry, I don't know if your podcast is big enough for me to come on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I think Premodern is the most popular of all of these different variants, is because it hits that nostalgia vibe, but it's also, it's a closed format, but I still consider it a living format because we have a ban list that is changing. Because it's a format that never existed before, it's not just rehashing old decks. Premodern, I think, kind of stands alone of all the various different variations.
And there's a delineated aesthetic to that format. Like you can play any of the cards, right? But like we know, old border cards.
Yes.
Go in Premodern, which is
Pat and I were talking
like,
about that in the pre-show. That Pat's looking at his deck, and he's got white border City of Brasses that he's got to change out.
It literally an episode that Phil and I are working on right now is the whole idea of like all these formats and like how like you can express yourself through the different ways that you want to build decks. Like perfect example is I have these Seed of Synods that are just, I love these like digital looking Seed of Synods. They're so cool. And I was like, okay, if I'm playing Affinity in Classic, I actually have to get I own these because of Legacy, but like I would have to get the Vault of Whispers and the Great Furnace as well, and then Darksteel Citadel. These are like $30 a piece. This is not like me just like on a whim I'm gonna like So like if I want to do that, like, and I was like, you know what, like these are fun.
I had so many
these
of
are
those.
Fun.
Yeah. I had so many of those OG Mirrodin lands because I was that's like when I was playing Magic and just spending
the OG
all of my
Mirrodin
money
lands
on
are like $2-3, you know. But like, if I wanted to be like these are the I think it was a Secret Layer or something, and they're all like 8-bit digital. So it's an aesthetic that I was into, but I was also like, when I was playing 8-Cast, a deck that you guys completely missed out on in Legacy.
Thank God.
It was just you're playing 8 Thoughtcast and 8 Thought Monitor. They're basically the same exact card, right? Or sorry, 4 of each.
That was like the standard deck. That was the standard deck, because I remember those lands were the first time they banned basic, but basically basic lands from standard.
But my whole thing with that deck was I wanted the weirdest versions of cards. So my Ancient Tombs were the Balin's Tombs from Lord of the Rings. I had like a different looking Spear of whatever the hell, I forget the name of the card now. Every card was like the worst looking version of that card, because I just wanted to it has nothing to do. Like, I'm not a giant fan of foreign language cards, just because I want my opponent to be able to know what my cards do. But I definitely like I edge that a little bit when I'm like,
do.
yeah,
Right,
also,
Pat?
yeah. But I
Right,
edge
Pat?
that a little
You
bit
wanna
when
know
I'm
what your
like,
cards
Why am I
do.
taking strays over here, Jerry? This is bullshit.
but like, you know, there are people out there that like are like, I only want to get foreign cards because I know what my cards do. But now you have to ask a judge what my cards do. You know, like that kind of, and that becomes a whole thing. And that's like that weird edge case that like, oh, maybe I won like one match because like my opponent wasn't paying attention. Like that's a real thing.
One match in 1,000.
Yeah, sure. And look, I'm not saying that that's everyone's case. I just don't want to, because I'm out there in the community. I also don't want to be the guy who's like an edgelord guy that's like, oh, why don't you ask a judge? I'll wait. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what my cards do.
Yeah.
But I am going to have the weirdest versions of English cards. You know, that's just you know. Anyhow, I say all that to say this: you can do that kind of stuff when you're playing these other formats that allow, like, you know, in old school, you just have to play the like alpha, beta, unlimited. Maybe they allow revised in versions of cards. But with these newer locked formats, you have the option of playing through all the different versions of the cards through Magic's history. And now, you know, every time a set comes out, they reprint like 6 or 7 staples for Premodern in there as like, you know, talking about catching strays. Sometimes you're like, oh, cool. Here's a new version of a card that I was going to buy, but I don't have to now, you know?
Yeah. And that is nice. What I like about Premodern is that people definitely prefer the OG borders, and like a lot of people just pimping out your deck just means running old borders. Like doesn't need to be foreign language, doesn't need to be foil. It's just you're running the OG printing of it.
Sometimes it's 2 of the 3, Jerry. Sometimes it's 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people just enter the format with, you know, whatever the cheapest version.
Yeah.
Like you can literally build this deck and it can cost you $1,500, or you can build this deck and it'll cost you $150 depending on what printings you use. And
I
both
think
are
like
perfectly
2 years ago, Mike Flores fielded the ugliest possible version of Burn. Like, just think of like Ball Lightning as like the new art, white border, you know, like white border, like Cities of Brass, you know, just every possible, like, Cities of Brass are generally always white border, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like just the worst version of every card, like foil Grim Lovemancers from the like Fire, and Graveborn thing. Like, it was awesome because like you'd see him just put it down, and every opponent that played against him was just like groan, you know?
Dry even.
Gross. Ew. I respect your decisions.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Like just and playing like I think the mountains that are all text. Like there's a secret layer that's like all text mountains. Like just the worst version of every, which is like that's a fun like little mini game you can play. I always say like it sucks to play Magic alone, but the collecting alone part is like really fun for me.
So much fun,
And that is a fun little mini game you can do when you're at work or when you're, you know, like when you're not supposed to be playing Magic, you know?
Oh, that's like Sean Calvo. He's the head judge of all the LobsterCon. He's the head judge of like all the, he's like New England's like main, like eternal New England's main head judge. His Premodern deck, he has made a rule for himself. His entire Premodern deck is secret layers only.
Nice.
So it's just nothing but secret layers. And it's just absolute pain to watch, but it brings him joy, so I respect his decisions.
And when you're building like a battle box, like I have a battle box of 12 decks, I don't actually care what those decks look like.
Right.
So I just literally, if cards mismatch or whatever, like it's whatever, I just want to be able to build the deck. So the fact that you can play any of those things is just like I incidentally have like from a commander deck I bought this card. Great, I'll put that in there, you know? So that to me is actually a real benefit of all these closed formats, is being able to do that. Like I'm not buying another, I have a foil Maluku Clouded Mirror from like Modern Masters. I'm not buying another one.
Now, something we had come up when we had Jay on from the Duress Crew a couple episodes ago was he was wondering if Premodern is going to kind of plateau? Because we've seen explosive growth in the format in the last couple years. What's your take? Do you think Premodern is still gonna go on this current trajectory? Do you think it's plateau? Do you think people are gonna start trying out these different formats and lose interest in Premodern? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, there's a couple things here. One, on the literal day that Duress Fest has been funded, right?
Mhm.
So there's that, right?
Oh, did it officially get covered today?
Yeah,
it went-
$100,000.
Oh,
today.
congrats to them.
It's well over now. Actually, today it went from like, I think we had over $10,000 in funding just today alone. It was
Well, they got to raise, $200,000 for Pat and I to not play the event naked.
It's
so
true. That's true.
Keep raising it. Otherwise, you guys are gonna,
All right, let me just start funding.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, look at that, $90,000.
I got some stocks to sell
All
real
the money
quick.
that Eternal Durdles made last year is suddenly been donated. No, but yeah. So it is interesting. So the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I don't think that there's going to be any slowing down anytime soon, especially with an event this big. Right now, I think what you're seeing is like if you look at like a chart, what you're seeing right now looks like this, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is when you zoom out, right, a whole bunch, a couple years from now, that's going to look like this, and Premodern's going to look like that, right? This event is the return of Grand Prix, right? Showing people that a multi-day event surrounded around one format with a bunch of fun people that want to play the format in a room in what I can assume right now is probably an excellent venue with a great staff, people who really care about the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be curated in a way that I think is just like everything that we have been missing from Magic since like 2019. You know,
Yes.
So I'll hop off my soapbox about that for a second and say, so when you're looking at these other formats and saying, do I play Premodern or do I play Classic or do I play Legacy or Standard? People contain multitudes. And they contain several. Look, this is my collection. It is a library card catalog of cards I don't normally touch. And then I was like, ooh, Classic. Shit, I'm going to go through my entire thing and I'm going to find all the cards that I could use for that, or all the cards in my Legacy collection that I haven't touched in ages because they're not really playable anymore. Like I have Morningtide Vendilion Clicks. Cool.
Yeah.
I can play them in this format, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think as far as the only thing that's stopping people from playing more Magic is their own personal time, right? The different card pools and stuff like that. Like, yes, I think that there is something to be said about the reserve list being a limiting factor for growth in Premodern, but I don't think that is such a huge situation as it is in, say, like a format like Legacy, where like I think we have sort of plateaued in Legacy. Like you get several thousand people a year as opposed to like several 100,000. I also think that there are a lot of people that are interested in these formats as like tabletop experiences for themselves that never go to these tournaments. You know, I used to think that Mark Rosewater was full of shit when he'd say that like more people are playing Magic at the kitchen table than at tournaments, and most of them never signed up for tournaments. And I was like, idiots, that's not even true. And then like Commander blew up, and I was like, Jesus, this dude was totally right about this. And I don't know. I don't want to apologize because I hate the fact that he was right. But like, and hey, that could be the detriment of the entire game. Like that's a whole other podcast. Like
Yeah.
But no, to that end, I think that I don't think that Premodern is plateauing, and I think that the other formats coming up just gives the idea. Like I said, there's a growing base of people who are just kind of done with the churn of WotC and the slop of other IPs and stuff coming in, and this is a way for them to insulate themselves and still be those kitchen table people that Mark Rosewater was talking about all that time ago.
Yeah,
I
think it's natural for Premodern, especially as I call them, legacy refugees, to feel that way though, because it's something we experienced when Modern was created. A lot of people felt, especially at the time, that Modern coming onto the scene was very much at the detriment of Legacy, because now instead of, SCGs being Saturday was Standard, Sunday was Legacy, now all of a sudden it's like, well, okay, every other week is Legacy, and you got to share that spot with Modern. And I remember being so disappointed. It was like, you're waiting for the SCG to come to your town. You're waiting for the SCG to come to their town.
It's going to be a modern 4K.
You come and it's a modern event. And you're like, God damn, I've been waiting 6 months for this tournament, and it's not even the format I want to play.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely some, generational scars holding over, where people feel like, any player not playing pre-modern is being taken away and playing another format.
Okay, so
this might be news to you guys, then I'll let Pat talk. I swear.
That's okay.
There will be a classic event at Duress Fest.
Yes, yeah, there will be.
Just want to put that out there.
So I had a couple questions. Are GPs not a thing anymore? They don't play GPs anymore?
Sadly, I'm so sorry that you're hearing about this way.
Well, because you kind of mentioned it flippantly, and I'm like, wait, GPs don't happen anymore?
Yeah, so I'll give you the short of it. So in 2020, that was supposed to be the year of Pioneer. Mm-hmm. So the in between Standard and Modern format that basically killed both Modern and Pioneer at the same time. They were 2020 was supposed to be the year of Pioneer. There were going to be like 7 Grand Prix all over the country, and with the normal Grand Prix circuit still happening, it was going to be a big deal. They're really pushing Pioneer to be this the next big format. And then the pandemic happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What
happened? I'm sorry that you're hearing about this.
No.
Pat really felt through a time like, what do you mean a pandemic?
No, but yeah, so that kind of killed Pioneer. Basically, like they kind of just were like, well, we tried to launch this format, we did a whole big thing for it, and literally we can't even have events for it. And that was sort of its own thing. Like they still talk about Pioneer, but they don't really curate the format at all. And that was an interesting format for me because I got into Modern just about right when it started. So I was interested in Modern as a stepping stone to Legacy because I was playing Standard. Was like, oh, I can build like a blue-white control deck in this format with my Sphinx's Revelations and Snapcaster Mages, right? And then I can eventually move into Legacy. So I think that was a lot of people's dream from Standard to Pioneer to Modern. And, I always consider these stepping stones to get to Legacy. So that didn't happen. And then they were like, well, since we're not having Grand Prix, we're going to start doing these things called Magic Fests.
Okay. I kind of vaguely remember this.
We quit like right after they introduced Magic Fest.
Yeah. And I was like, what a dumb name. It wasn't even Magic Fest. It was something so, like, even Magic Con sounds eh.
Yeah.
But like whatever the name of that initial thing was basically just like, you guys can all show up and play Magic. And I was like, I can do that in my friend's mom's basement. I'm not going to a convention center and eating like $27 hot dogs to like not play in a main event, you know? And so they did that, and then they did Command Fest, and they had one in Philly, and I showed up to that, and like, it was fine. Because of the pandemic, I like had to embrace Commander because I had a couple friends that would do, we basically do a Zoom call, right?
Yep.
And then play Commander with each other, and it was a chance for me to see friends I hadn't seen in a while. But so then eventually that became Magic Con, and Magic Con is basically just that's where they have the Pro Tour, but it's also just like Commander players. It's so much larger than what a Grand Prix was, but to me it's so much less than what a Grand Prix was because I was a competitive player. I wanted to play, even if it was a Modern or a draft. Like, I have 2 day 2s. I don't know if you guys have any day 2s. I consider that like a badge of honor. I have 2 day 2s, right? They're for limited. They're not even for Legacy,
Yeah, this just happened actually a couple days ago. So one of my good friends, he does Big Brother, Big Sister. And so he like has his little and has all the friends. And he's like, oh, hey, these kids play Magic. Are you still like a big time Magic guy? Because my friend doesn't really know anything about Magic. I'm like, oh yeah, I started playing Magic again recently. He goes like, tell me something like really cool about you so I can like wow these kids. And I'm like, oh, I mean, you can tell them that I like top 8'd GP Niagara and went to Pro Tour Barcelona.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like, okay, cool. And he tells the kids, and he's like, They have no idea what any of that means. They've never heard of a GP.
I'm sorry.
So
They're
they-
like, okay, cool.
they are
How
probably
much
kids who,
commander
like-
damage did he take at that event?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably
Yeah,
kids who play like kitchen table Magic, right? Like, I mean, that's I feel like that's where we all started, right? That's again one of the things I love about Premodern, to bring it back to the format, is that it does feel like the closest thing to kitchen table Magic I've had in a long time. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing. I mean, we were talking about brewing in the format before, but like there was a big event in New York, the Order of the Sacred Torch, which is the New York like chapter of Premodern.
Yeah, that was
the
a
Order of the
big,
Sacred
big
Torch
thing.
event, and I won best brewer last year, the best cook, right?
Yep.
And I was like, man, it's gonna be tough, like to try and figure out, like I gotta defend my title, you know?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
How do you win best cook in a format that's locked and solved, you know? And I was like, I'm gonna, like, you really have to do a little bit of like thinking about it. But I ended up building a deck with Phyrexian Portal as my like engine, and it was just Splinter Twin. It was Frenetic Free Enchant Encounter, like as a control deck with like a couple of like other extra weird pieces. Like I was playing like Bosium Strip as like I can burn you out kind of situation, and and Phyrexian Portal. Have you ever activated a Phyrexian Portal?
Nope.
Oh
Don't
my
even know what
God.
it does.
Dude, Phyrexian Portal is a 3-mana artifact that for 3 more mana. So now you've offered 6 mana up to the gods, right? You exile face down the top 10 cards of your deck and hand them to your opponent. He puts those into 2 piles. You blindly pick one of the piles and choose one card from it. The cards you didn't pick get exiled. The cards you did pick get shuffled into your deck. So you basically draw a card, but exile like 5 cards.
Yep. My buddy Josh tried it out in Tinkerfling because he was looking for like card advantage and was like, you could try like Fact or Fiction. That could be a good addition. He's like, yeah, or I could try this Phyrexian Portal.
Yeah, hell yeah. Or I could tinker this out, and
I could
eventually,
tinker-
you know.
Yep. And then eventually I'll choose right. It's like roulette, but like in cards.
I went 0-4 in this tournament, so I didn't do great. But I did activate Phyrexian Portal like 9 times. The over-under for me and Phil was, he's like, I think you're going to activate it at least 10 times. I'm like, I think it'll be under 10, because I think once people see it, and once they see the episode about me talking about it, they're just going to respect it enough to get rid of it or counter it every time.
Yeah.
And I think I activated it 9 times, but I had the meta glasses on, so I videoed every person like dealing with it. It's just like they're just like, what's happening? I'm like, yeah, okay, so you're on camera, and you just have to figure out, of these 10 cards that I'm not allowed to see, how do you want to split those? And then I pick one, you know, like I just explained the whole thing to them, and every time I was like, this is great, this is better. I played Browse Digger last year, like. So I was on a brew last year too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need another engine. Like I need another card that like separates me from the pack. And you know, going back to my point is that that is still novel in Premodern, a locked format that people have been playing now for like over like what 2012, so over 15 years almost.
Well,
is that
even
old?
look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but so I after LobsterCon, I brewed up Threshnot, which is a completely new deck. And now we have like an entire crew of people on the Discord all brewing with it and experimenting with it.
I bought those X3s. I saw your episode. I was like, oh, that guy that like takes the power. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get those.
Yep. Yeah. So we So yeah, you know, for a solved format, which was always everyone's biggest complaint about Premodern when it started, there's plenty of brewing to be done.
My favorite thing about all these formats is the voice of the new guy. When someone walks in the format, kicks the door down, is like, I'm not gonna play this unless you let all the fetch lands in, and we're like, see ya.
Yeah.
You know,
Bye.
like you're whatever. Like it's the same. So I can now say with confidence that it happens in every locked format. Right now, I explained the whole thing about Peak, where like you get to play Gataxian Probe and Deathrite Shaman and Sensei Divining Top. Every other week, there was a guy coming into the Discord being like, "I won't ever play this format until you guys get rid of these cards." And we're like, "That's the whole point of this."
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
See ya.
And for me, I've been seeing that too, especially with Premodern. Is the thing is you got to ban the gold borders ban the gold borders.
Oh, God, get out of here.
We're not sanctioning. We're gonna or like we're gonna put together this. We're gonna put together this massive $10,000 tournament, and we're not gonna allow gold borders. Okay, no one's gonna go there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go.
Yep.
Like Star City Games started doing pre-modern tournaments, and from what I've seen, the attendance is pretty low at the pre-modern because they don't allow gold borders.
Yeah.
And people just don't want to support that shit.
Sorry. Well, that's the thing is like, so like, I think Excalibur Games, Baldy, running events, they allow gold borders, and I think for some of their formats they allow the playtest cards, the like double-sided.
Yes,
I used to
that's
have
the Niagara tournament coming up. In September. Yeah,
so
they're allowing.
From what I understand, you can have
cards.
like 10 of the like double face cards, and you just like, damn, I had. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Look at my sweet Tolarian Academy, guys.
That's actually really
That's
cool.
pretty good.
Like
That's pretty good.
like you're putting effort in.
Yeah. I was like, hey man, like I'm not a great artist, but like I can draw a building, you know?
Yeah.
But like even if you're just writing it on a card that has a magic back, you know, that's the whole point, right?
Right.
And there's a whole like legal reasons why they can and can't get away with that, and then the gold borders are just they're magic cards. They have the same weight and everything, so that's fine, you know.
Here's our daily episode. Our as is tradition. the shirtless snack break.
I love you, kiddo. See you tomorrow, buddy.
He's like, I just want to say goodnight. He's like sneaking down the wall.
I thought he was coming for that last ice cream sandwich.
No.
Anyways, where was I?
So what about SCG Opens? Are those not a thing anymore?
They do. So SCG still does its thing. They don't do the tour anymore.
Okay.
But they still do events because I'm going in the beginning of September to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm playing a different card game. I'm playing Sorcery.
Oh, okay.
There. Which that's a whole other vibe.
Yeah, now it's not even just Magic. Now they do like Lorcana, and Flesh and Blood, and it's
what's crazy is that so right after the pandemic, they did an event in Philly at the Valley Forge Convention Center, so not really Philly, at the Valley Forge Convention Center and casino.
Oh,
let's keep that in mind.
Excellent.
I won, but not at the Magic.
not at SCG.
Anyhow, that particular venue is not huge. It's a good size for like a couple of Magic events, but then they started adding Lorcana and then Star Wars Unlimited, and there were like 3 or 4 other games, and I was like, yo, can you guys just like not do that and like have like an event just for that stuff, because there's no room here. Like I can't like you couldn't sit down for like more than a minute without somebody coming over and a judge being like, we're about to start a pod here, you got to get out of the way.
Yeah,
which is, that's not how we dealt with Grand Prix back in the day. If you wanted to like pick up a Commander game, there's always some room for that kind of nonsense, or like do a draft with your buds.
There was always a guy who would sit down with, he would have a folded piece of paper that just says trades ? And he's sitting there with like 8 binders taking up an entire table,
like a suitcase.
Yep.
But so that I think they've kind of solved how that works now. Now Philly specifically, because it's so small, it's like it's a little tough. But like the Baltimore event, the last one we went to last year, Baltimore Convention Center is pretty nice convention center, but it's also pretty big. And the rooms that they get generally have more than enough space. Same thing with Pittsburgh, is big enough. And when we were playing Sorcery, they had us off to the side, and I wandered around the convention center after I got done the Sorcery event, and there were people like, you see people at the SCG tour that you see like all the time at the SCG tour, and I kept running into people who were like, oh man, I haven't seen you all weekend. I was like, yeah, I was over there playing a different game. And they're like, I didn't even know there was another game over there. So like, I think they've kind of solved the seating situation now.
Yeah.
But as far as the tour is concerned, like the micro celebrityness of like winning the tour and like, your Bosch and Rolls and your Jim Davises and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think that's as big a thing anymore. Yeah. Well, Reed could get a Pro Tour win every now and again.
Yeah. But no, it's true. I mean, like it really is funny thinking back to what kind of a microcosm that was
We
in
had it
that
so
time
good.
because like even going back in like so I picked up Warhammer when I was taking my magic break.
Oh yeah,
And it's just like
Wong, brother.
yeah, it's just like completely different. I mean, both been like how you play like in Warhammer, talk about like, you know, in Magic, like people running like foreign language cards to fool their opponent. In Warhammer, people are like, I'm going to do this. Like, okay, just to let you know, I have a response that if you do that, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's trick. Do you want to take that back? And it's like it's like a competitive event, like totally different perspective from that perspective. But also it's like you get like 12 people at a Warhammer tournament. It's like the biggest event
That's
of the
huge,
region. Like,
yeah.
you know, it really is. I think we didn't know how good we had it back in the golden days of like 2,000 person legacy tournaments or you know, filling convention centers and things like that.
Part of the beauty of the Warhammer thing too was that I think like didn't you get like a sportsmanship rating at the end that like also counted towards your win condition?
They have
like,
a painting rating where if all of your army is painted, you get 10 bonus points.
Yeah.
So
but there used to be like a thing where like you would also rank your opponent on like a scale of 1 to 10.
I don't know if that's still a thing. I haven't really dipped my toes that much into competitive Warhammer.
Just
but
forces people to not be dickheads. Like what you're saying about like, hey, if you do that, just a heads up, like you should know that this guy in my army does. We'll throw a goblin at you or something, you know. Like,
it's like, well, the gentleman's rule, like we've talked about the gentleman's rule in all these formats, that's like an actual rule in Warhammer.
Oh, interesting.
Because they had things like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago where like someone on camera like tricked his opponent and it caused this massive community uproar. And ever since then, the gentleman's rule has been like an official rule of Warhammer.
Yeah. Leave it to the English to come up with something like that, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't there
They're
something
not fighting properly.
wasn't there something
we seceded from England to begin with, so we could be jerks.
That's right. Yeah. Wasn't there something that happened in Magic that I'm trying to remember? Someone had named a card, and it was one version of the card.
Was Bob Wong. Bob Wong.
Was it Bob Wong?
Yeah, it was Borborgamos. So
yes,
there were
Borborgamos.
two. So there was So there was Borborgamos the card,
Enraged.
and then Borborgamos Enraged.
Jerry
and
his
his opponent
butchering
played
that name.
Yeah, his opponent played Pithing Needle.
Borborgamos, something like that. I can't remember. It was,
we'll go with that one.
Well, now I can't say it because it's just like it's bad. But his opponent played Pithing Needle, and Borborgamos Enraged was in play. So like everyone knew what Borborgamos he was talking about, but he just played Pithing Needle and said Borborgamos.
It was also not in standard at the time. The other one,
it's also wasn't even legal in the format. And so he did that, and Bob asked the judge, and the judge was like, "Yeah, according to the rules, that's what it is. That Pithing Needle doesn't do anything." And Bob ended up like winning that tournament.
Yep.
And ever since then, you were allowed to describe a card with Pithing Needle instead of having to name it exactly.
Well, I often call a judge and go, "The is the name of this card? I'm going to tell you what it does." And the judge is like, "Yeah, it's Frodo who will be lost sometimes, but not all the time." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. It's
like
Jace the 17th. You know."
I like playing that game with judges when like my friends are judging and I just want to like mess with them and I'm like, "Hey judge, what's that card that anytime you would draw a card, if you have a card in hand, you discard a card first, and then if you don't, you have to mill the top of your library." They're like, "Chains of Mephistopheles." I'm like, yeah, that one. Yeah. It's like, "Jerry, you're playing blue red." And I'm like, "I know. I just was wondering."
So I have this question. My favorite one is like, you're like, so I have this question about Chains of Mephistopheles, Opalescence, and Humility. Okay, they're all out, right?
Yeah.
The judge is like, "I'm not answering this question.
Yeah.
I'm leaving now." I'm calling a judge on you.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that was a legacy deck way back in the day. It was called Layer 7B, and it was running like Humility with Mishra's Factories and the Gideon Planeswalker because of the way not even the stack, the way the rules layers stacked. That with a Humility in play, Gideon was still like a 4/4.
Yeah. Whatever comes in after. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I learned that with Merfolk because someone had out a humility against me, and they had some way of stopping like 1 damage every turn, so it could stop all my guys. And then I was able to just like turn one of my guys on and attack, and he was like, "It doesn't do anything." I'm like, "It's a 2/2."
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Good stuff. Well, I mean, it definitely seems like the future is bright for Magic. Maybe Wizards will get a hint that, you know, when your player base invents like 8 different formats that all revolve around a central theme of not paying attention to what you're doing and actively rebelling against it, you would think they would eventually get
Ironically,
hit.
that's why we're in the situation we are in the first place. Do you remember this format called Commander?
Yeah.
So you could ask somebody who played Commander back in the day if what they're doing now is better or worse than Commander, and I'm sure they'd have an opinion about it. I kind of don't want them to take notice of this stuff because
Completely agree.
What could they do? Premodern Masters, like they can't just print direct to Premodern content, right? But and I think that's like that's important, but also they can do things like, you know, I like the organic nature by which Premodern is running. I don't want a bunch of people like Martin Shkreli coming in and being like, I bought all the box diamonds, you know, like I bought every gold bordered Magic card and made it $1 million. So it's impossible for anyone to play but me and my 7 friends that don't actually play Magic. You know, I think them ignoring these formats is probably a boon in truth for them.
We don't want the Pokemon scalpers to get wind of this, right?
Dude,
like,
it's too late for that. So the Pokemon scalpers are actually an evolution of, and I know I'm using the word evolution on the Pokemon thing. I hate Pokemon so bad. An evolution of the shoeheads, the like sneaker goblins.
Right, yeah,
right?
All the people
so
who
those
like
sneaker people go out and then they realize they could make a killing, like going to Walmart and fighting children for Pokemon cards, right? Because children don't fight back. Come to Premodern, see what's up.
Yeah.
We're
all boozed up and ready to go. We're full grown adults.
I blame social media. It's all just like the monetization of hobbies. Like it's the same reason why you can't go to thrift stores anymore, because you got people going in there with their AI apps scanning the shelves of thrift stores and telling them the value of everything so they can buy it and then resell it.
Yeah.
And now you have things like Goodwill running their own auction sites, auctioning off the things donated to them because they got sick of all these scalpers coming in and just, you know, buying stuff to resell.
This is a good point in time to tell everybody to like and subscribe to the video so you guys can get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Thank you for reminding me, Zach. Now, to completely sell out and shill ourselves, we're still trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, guys.
I haven't looked lately, but where are you guys at on subscribers?
I think we're at like 400 subscribers, right around there.
So I've got to give you guys some hints later on. We'll talk.
Okay,
we'll talk.
yeah, we got to talk about optimizing.
we started Returnal Durdles 2 weeks ago, and we're at 180 right now.
Okay, that's pretty good.
But that's also like people that were just already new, right?
We probably got like 250 to 280 subscribers on our first episode, and that I think is like the old cadre
it's the old crew coming back, which is great.
And then we've been getting about 2 or 3 subscribers an episode since then.
Yeah, that's my stance is pretty much like you want to get about 100 a month, and that will get you like basically a year, brings you to monetization. I mean, this is all a little too inside baseball for what we're talking about right now. But I'd like to see you guys get to the point where you get a little kickback from this. So that's.
That would be nice, especially since I need to figure out a better way to edit, because I'm currently spending like 8 hours an episode editing because
that's crazy. I'm doing 5 episodes, sometimes 6 episodes a week.
Crazy.
I spend 20
That's
minutes
honestly,
editing
I don't know
things.
how you guys can do that. Like, I was thought about it, I was like, maybe we need to go every other week because I'm spending so much time editing. But you know what it is I love my memes.
Yeah, you do.
And so like we get to like
you're
a certain
adding
point in the conversation, and I'm just like, I need to find the perfect meme for this perfect moment, and then I go on a rabbit hole where I'm just like, I remember like some cartoon that I saw back in 2006 that would fit perfectly, and I'm scouring the internet for the perfect clip to insert into the
I'm going to
show.
give you the advice that no one was smart enough to give me when I was in that retention editing K-hole. It's this. no one's listening. No one's watching. They're probably all listening in the background at work. You know, like the only time that I really worry about like my visuals is when we're doing like a set review. And even then, I'm just sharing the screen and then zooming it into the card that we're talking about. I'm not even doing any of the editing that I used to do, where I'd be like, I'd find the card, and put it in for like X seconds until we're done talking about it. I'm like, nah, I'll just scroll over to the next card. Like I put into a mock field thing, and I just zoom all the way in on it, so that I don't ever have to do any editing.
Oh, Zach, if you go back to our tournament report episode, I literally took like the clip from Arthur of like DW going, that sign doesn't mean anything because I can't read.
Saw that. Yeah.
And I took like the video and I edited Pat's face onto DW's and I animated the face so it like travels like
so
with
much.
the animation.
It's so
like
much.
that animation probably took me like an hour and a half alone for that 1 5-second clip.
It's pretty
but
funny.
It was worth it.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing is it's worth it if it's bringing you joy, it's worth it for sure. But I will say, if your episode got 500 views, probably 20 people saw it.
Right.
You know? Because they were just like I every piece of Magic content I watch, I listen to, whatever, is in the background while I'm at work, like
Same.
doing something else.
Yep.
So much of this is, I mean, comment below if that's the case. If you're
comment
not,
below if you
don't
guys
know what
appreciate
my
meme create. Like, I did a whole thing with like Lord of the Rings where it was just like Gimli was Nimble Mongoose and Aragorn was playing and Gimli's just like toss me. Just like, if you guys are seeing those memes and they bring just, if one person tells me that those memes bring a little bit of joy to your day, I'll keep doing them. But if no one's actually watching them, I'll reclaim my 8 hours a week of editing.
I always tell Phil the only reason we have video is so that people can recognize us at events.
That's excellent.
What's crazy is occasionally someone will come up to me and be like, I know you. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm pretty recognizable, so like, how do you know me? And they're like, no, it's your voice. And I'm like, oh yeah, you probably listen to my podcast then.
I've been to that.
It's so weird.
Usually when people say like you look familiar, I just tell them, you probably have seen my OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, excellent.
Let's get into. You want to get into scoops?
Yeah, let's get into scoops. I was just gonna say we're coming up on the end. Zach, thank you so much for joining us.
Man.
You've been a long time friend of the cast and us.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for helping us get the podcast restarted. You definitely are a huge impetus to that. But yeah, who would you like to scoop into top 8?
I mean, I got to start with Phil Bleckman. I think got to scoop in Phil. Right.
Excellent. Yeah, Phil. How's he been? I haven't talked to him in years.
Phil's still on Miracles, guys. Nothing's changed.
Oh my God.
So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in the last 6 years.
Phil's on Miracles in every format that will allow him to play it, and even the formats that don't have Miracles yet, he's still like, I'm going to play Countertop. Like, he would play Miracles. He tries to play Miracles in Premodern. It does not work out.
Excellent. What about you, Pat? Who's your scoop?
I'm going to scoop in Duress Crew. Big congrats to them. I know we talked about it earlier in the show, but getting over the 100K today. Actually, last I checked was at like 105. So they're getting like dangerously close to being able to hit that. Like, I think at 125, they're going to be able to lock in a date and venue like now. So there's about a week left. By the time this gets released, it's probably the Kickstarter will probably be over. But for sure, they have their funding, so if you still want to go to the event, you'll be able to get tickets still. It's really cool to be jumping into Premodern at a time when there's such a massive success that like a local crew is having right now with the format. So just big scoop into them, man, for sure.
I expect Jerry to work through the night to get this podcast up tomorrow. 8 hours of editing.
No sleep. No sleep.
No sleep.
Come on,
Not
Jerry.
gonna happen.
God hates a coward, Jerry. Come on.
Send me to hell, then.
How about you, Jerry? Who are you going to scoop in the top 8 this week?
Excellent. I'm going to scoop in my real estate agent because my wife and I looked at a house and we're like, this is the great house. And we're like, let's put an offer in. And our real estate agent drew up all this paperwork. And then we got the disclosures and we're like, the septic system hasn't been looked at since the 1980s.
The Title 5 or whatever it is, or Title 9. Title 5,
yeah,
right?
so we're just like, yeah. I know you just spent a whole bunch of work typing up all those documents. Can you just tear those up?
Relax. You know what? ChatGPT did it for him anyway.
Yeah, right. ChatGPT drew up those documents.
I'm a big like shout out to your real estate agent, but I'm a big believer in they just pocket your money. They don't actually do that much for you.
That's true. That's true.
No, but that's you get if you're in the market to buy a house, pay the $200 or $400 whatever for an inspection. Yeah. It's well worth it.
Yep. Definitely saved us, what could possibly have been like a $30,000 project.
That is the last thing you want to have right when you close your house is $30K in the hole.
Yeah.
I appreciate your distaste for real estate agents. That's how I feel about banks. I'm a big Mojo Nixon fan. I hate banks. Look it up.
Excellent. Well, the search continues, and I am actually I have to consider okay, how far away is this property going to be from Duress Fest, or how far is this going to be from LobsterCon? Because man, those 3-hour drives to tournaments, they really eat at you.
All right, Jerry, you need to. All right, here's your meme. Here's your meme cut. You need to insert your face over the guy from what is it, the Outdoor Boys, or whatever, who's like, I'm in a remote island in Alaska, 500 miles away from civilization. This is Jerry getting to Duress Fest.
Getting to Duress Fest, yeah. I have a toothpick and a hang glider. And
yeah.
The event is in 48 hours.
Awesome, man. Oh, well, thanks for coming on, Zach. It was awesome to talk to you, dude.
Oh yeah, man. I'm so excited to see you guys getting off the ground again. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's brought back a lot of good memories. We met a lot of cool people. Gotten to catch up with old friends. So it's been great so far.
Yeah, that's the best part of the game, man. Is getting to hang out.
100%.
It is
100%.
For sure. Well, that does it this week. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, tell me if I'm wasting my time or if you guys it brings you joy. And we will see you all next week.